Hello, hello, good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art, and it's Wednesday. Let's create. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can just say replay. Now, I'm just looking, we're on a weird angle. Oh my goodness, my phone is off kilter somehow. Sorry about the jiggling. We're just getting everything set up. We are going to be creating a corner fold card today, and we're going to be using the stamp of the month for the month of February, and it's here in the back of your catalog on page 51. It's called Say It With Flowers, this one right here, and it's a beautiful collection of florals. I love that there is a bouquet and a cluster and single flowers and flowers on stems, a few leaves, and some lovely sentiments. So that is the stamp of the month for February. And if you are familiar with the stamp of the month, you will know that you can purchase that stamp all throughout the month of February, but you could also get it for a reduced price if you place an order of $60 or more on the website. And if you're a VIP, then you can also get it for free, which is fabulous. I see that my mom is watching. Good evening, Mom. And Joanne is here too. Hello, hello. Hey, Heather and Ina as well. And Deborah. Oh my goodness, everybody's getting on. It must be a Wednesday. Everybody's got time to sit and have a breather. I've been going a lot today, but we did have a lot of fun during our Chat and Craft, We Craft Wednesdays. So that was very lovely. Now I've got a standard card base here. So this is a what everybody keeps calling an A2 size. I'm not familiar with the sizes, but it's an A2 size. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when it's folded. I've got it still open here. And what I want to do is I want to line up my crease, my center score line right on the 6-inch mark, just like that. And I'm going to do some measuring. So let me grab my pencil. From the 6-inch mark over here, I want to measure 2.5 inches. Now I've forgotten what my measurement is. Well done. Let me just measure. Good, good, good. I should have written it down, right? 1 moment, please. Yes, 2.5. I'm pretty sure because that'll leave me 1 3/4. So let me see, 1 3/4. Yes. So I'm going to come 2.5 inches from this 6-inch center line. So 1, 2.5, and I'm just going to put a little mark there. And then I'm going to come to the other side and go 1, 2.5, and put a little mark there. Now what I want to do is I want to come 3.5 inches down from the top. So we're already at a halfway line. So that would be our 1/2 inch. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Let me just check. Yes. So it's 2 inches up from the bottom, if that makes it easier. So we're coming to the 3.5 inch from that top part, and we're going to put a mark there. Now what we want to do is we want to grab something that we can do some scoring with, and we are going to score from the mark that we created over here, 2.5 inches from that center crease, and we're going to score all the way down to this mark where it intersects the center fold of the card. So we're going to just put our bone folder there. We're going to line it up with that mark on the center crease, and we're just going to score down like that on an angle. Then we're going to come to the other side, and we're going to line this 2.5 inch mark up with that one that's on the line there, and we're going to score that way. So we've made some nice diagonal score lines on our paper, And now all we need to do, well, let's remove the pencil marks first. That's not a pencil. My pen and my pencil were sitting side by side. I picked up my pen. There will be no eraser on my pen. That will not help whatsoever. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to fold it with the bump side to the inside. So we're going to kind of start that fold. But we also want to fold these two diagonal score lines. And of course, because we creased on this side, the bump side is on that side. So we're going to fold with the bump side to the inside. And I'm just going to do a light little push down there. And then I'm going to come to this other side again, just doing a light little push on that crease. And then this score line on this side of the intersection is actually going to fold the opposite direction. You see what's happening there? Where this is going to all tuck down inside. So we haven't done any heavy creases yet because we want to make sure that everything lines up before we do our final squish down. It's the final squish down. There we go. And everything lines up nice. So we can just fold on there. And we can also make sure that that crease in the inside is nice. Go on both sides. Make sure everything's creased down. And so now we have created, that is the folding for this card. I know, it's so technical. We just made it a nice diagonal fold that tucks to the inside like that. So now the front of our card looks like this, and then the inside we have this little sort of pop-up triangle. Okay, so let's do some decorating on our card because that was a quick and easy base. Now we can spend some time decorating. So I wanted to use the stamp of the month, and it's got gorgeous flowers. So I've already stamped some of them up on this piece of white daisy cardstock. And I'm going to use only 2 markers. I'm going to use the lavender and the dull green. Now, if you were taking part in the crop this past weekend, you've already seen me color these before using pretty much the same colors, I'm sure. And so we're going to do this quickly, hopefully. I'm going to start with the lightest color of the lavender. And just quickly begin to color this. I want to make sure that I'm actually in the screen here. I got to scroll up. Yes, I am. Look at that. Excellent. So how is everybody doing on their Wednesday evening? Has it been a week already? It feels like we've had lots of fun because we were on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday doing the crop. And then Tuesday night we do Stash Dash. And then today we were on all day doing the We Craft Wednesdays. And that's just a super fun way to spend pretty much a whole week. And I'm so glad that a lot of you were able to join me for pretty much all that time. Nothing better than crafting with some friends, even if it's crafting online. It's definitely good for the soul. Crafting therapy. All right, so we're going around, we're coloring in, and I'm just going ahead and doing all of the light all at once. And I'm trying to avoid the center of the flower, just to leave a little glint of white there. Look at me coloring outside the lines. I know you've done it yourself, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Then we're going to switch to the mid color, and just where there's those lines, we're going to add a little bit of mid. Just back and forth, nice and loose. We're not getting too worried about it. Just add it in there. There we go. And the last one. And then we're going to switch to the dark of the lavender. Joanne says, time flies when you're having fun. It sure does. And there's nothing more fun than doing some crafting. And not only were we crafting, we were exploring and thinking about chocolate the whole time. What could be better than that? Crafting and chocolate during the crop, our chocolate tour of Belgium. So we've added a little bit of the dark just to the nearest to the center. And then we're going to go back over with our light just roughly. We don't even have to go all the way to the edge. We're just kind of blending those three colors together just to make everything transition smoothly. This is something that I like about these markers, is that they're very forgiving. And which is probably why I haven't gotten along with any other kind of marker. Because, you know, you just kind of get the color on there and hope for the best. There we go. And let's do this other flower here while we're thinking about it. And then we'll switch to the green. So we're just going to do the exact same process, only with a little bit larger flower. I'm pretty sure that these are supposed to look like violets or pansies, or not pansies, violets. Although they do look a little bit like irises. But I kind of like them with the purple color, and I've done them in the purple color before. You know, one of these days I might have to switch them up and do a different color. Coming in with the mid, just a little scribble here, a little scribble there, like that. Coming in with the dark. I like that all my options are all in the same marker. A little dark just around the center. And then back to the light to blend it all together. Scribble, scribble. Who knows scribbling could work so well? There we go. And then I've also got the dull green here. I'm going to start out with the mid for these larger leaves. And, oh good, I chose the right one. I have one dull green, and this one might be getting the same way. I have one dull green where the mid is just about run out. This one looks a little juicier. So we're going to color that in. And this. Now, I'm not 100% sure why there's two different kinds of leaves for the same flower. Perhaps somebody could figure that out for me. But I don't mind. A little bit of variety is never a bad thing. So we're just going to go ahead and color them. Ours is not to wonder why, or question why. Is that how the saying goes? And another one here. Like so. We've also got a couple over here, but we'll come back to those later. I want to come in with the dark and just add a little bit of dark in the center of these. Just following along those little vein lines in the leaf. And then we'll switch to the light, actually. Let's go to the light. Sometimes they say avoid going to the light, but we're going to go to the light. And we're just going to use the light to blend. Now my light, you can tell by the sound of it, is running out. So let's go to the mid instead. We'll go back to the mid. We'll just color over that to blend out the dark. There we go. Like that. And then let's try the light to color these little guys. See if we can get enough out. Just to give them a little bit of lighter green color. Like that. Faintly green. And then we'll add a little bit of mid just at the base of them. Just like that. Just a little touch, 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 touch. Oh, touchy, touchy. And then let's go over to these two larger ones. And we'll color those out too. Might as well. We stamped them. Let's color them. And we're probably going to use them. Alrighty. I'm going to spin my paper so they get a better angle for my coloring. Does anybody else do that? Spin their paper as they color? I find I'm always doing that. Spin around so you get a better angle for your hand. It's easier to stay in the lines when you can kind of move things around, I find. I don't know if I'm the only one. We'll add some dark to those vein lines again, like that. Pretty haphazard on that one. I'm getting a cramp in my hand from coloring. You know you've colored a little too much in the last week when you're getting the cramp in your hand. And there we go. I haven't even got my fingernails done again. I was starting to do them earlier today and didn't finish. So they're just the way they are. You get to see them au naturel. Probably with little bits of nail polish still stuck to them. So we're going to do some fussy cutting because you know that's what we love. Well, it's what I love, so we do it. And so just doing a quick rough cut first. And then, of course, we can just start in trimming around, leaving a nice white halo, pivoting our paper as we go so we get nice and smooth cutting. When we get too much excess, we just snip it off the end. There we go. Around and round. We're going to try and do this quick tonight. And in fact, I even have some, by the miracle of Facebook, I have some that are already done and sitting on the side. Because I didn't think you wanted to watch me color all the flowers that we're going to use to decorate this card. You just needed a little taste, right? Just a taste. A taste will do, unless it's chocolate, and then you need the whole bag. Or ice cream, then you need to keep going till you hit cardboard. Yep. All right, spinning around. We're almost there, just a couple more leaves yet to go. There we go. Once you get good at that paper pivoting, it really does help you get your fussy cutting done nice and neatly and quickly. Let's give this one a trim. Oops. There we go. I always say, when you say whoops, at least you're not doing brain surgery or heart surgery or anything like that. Just cutting paper, and if you really make a mistake, you can always stamp it again. And try again. Usually if you have a lot of things to fussy cut, that's a good time to watch a good movie, especially when you've seen before, so you don't have to have your eyes on the screen all the time. It's also not a good time to watch a movie that has jump scares. You might trim off something a little more than you expected. That might not be what you're going for. There we go. And the last leaf. And everybody sighs a huge sigh of relief. Yay, she's finally finished fussy cutting. Don't worry, we'll fussy cut more at some point. It'll never be over. I always think of this, whenever I think of something that's never going to be over. The scene in Over the Hedge, where the little squirrel goes running down the hedge, and he goes, "It never ends." And then he comes running back the other way. "It never ends this way either." That's like the fussy cutting. Okay, so we want to add some color and pizzazz to the front of our card. And for that, I have a piece of Wisteria cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Let me just double check. Yes, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to do the same thing that we did to our card base. We're going to come down, let me see, probably here so that you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to come across 3 1/2 inches and make a little mark. And then we're going to come up this side 2 1/2 inches like that. And the reason why we're doing it on this side is because I'm going to turn around and put it there. And now we're going to take our little photo trimmer, or your big paper trimmer, And we're going to trim off between those two marks. So the 3.5 and the 2.5. So you got to kind of do the spatial relations in your head. I mean, if I put it down here like this, I could have measured this way and this way too, or just used a ruler and measured, but I find it easier for me to flip it around so that I'm measuring against the, you know, the 1 and the 0. You can also move your Versamat around. You can move your Versamat around so that it's positioned the right way, so that your numbers are up here and you can do that. You can do all sorts of things. So many possibilities with paper crafting. Let's add some adhesive to the back of this so we can stick it to the front of our card. Like so. Take our backing off. Like that. And then we want to line it up so we've got an even amount of the white showing all the way around. Like that. We're mostly focusing on these outside edges. Don't worry so much about the angle if it's a little wonky, because we're going to decorate it. So it's a lot of it's going to be hidden. Then I also wanted to bring in some pattern paper. And I decided to choose one of the mix-in papers. And this is just the black and white. It's a fun little sort of dot design, a little bit distressed. I thought it was nice with that Wisteria cardstock. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take it down here and light it up. And we're going to measure 3.5 in here and 2.5 here. We're always going to go back to that same measurement, 3.5 across and 2.5 down. And we're going to bring it to the paper. And you can always bring it back over to your paper and just confirm that you've made the marks in the right place before you cut it. It never hurts just to confirm with your brain and make sure that that's correct. Sometimes our spatial relations can get a little off. I fully admit that I have chopped things off the wrong way before. And there we go. We can come in with our eraser, remove our pencil lines. I probably didn't do that on this either. There we go. And then we can stick this on here. Now, I didn't give you a measurement for this paper, did I? This black and white pattern paper was 5 by 3 3/4. 5 by 3 3/4. And don't worry, I will post the measurements on in the description and also on the Facebook page when I post the pictures. We're going to center this pattern paper in the middle of that Wisteria cardstock. Doesn't that look pretty? So pretty. And then we're going to do some decorating. So we've got our big floral cluster. We're going to save that for later. We're also saving all of these for later. Don't you worry, we'll get to them. But off to the side here, I have a couple more of those large flowers. And then I have some little flowers. And I also have some more leaves that I went ahead and colored in the exact same way ahead of time so that we could just get to decorating. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adding them on here. And I want to add them on to my card. And I'm going to be using the edge of my card to stick these on. So I'm going to use a little piece of foam tape on the corner of this one, just down at the edge, because I can let this stick over as long as I get it all foam taped on the edge. I can let it stick over into this space. That's not exactly where I wanted it, but there we go. We'll give it a little scoochy poo. There we go. Because I still have all of this space and to keep it inside my envelope when I get it ready to put in the mail. right? I still have lots of space. So then we can go ahead and add some other pieces. I'm going to put this one down flat. You know what? I might just use liquid glue for this. Going to put a little daub in the center and stick that on like that. There we go. Let's grab one of these little guys. Maybe I'll pop this one up with foam tape. And I'm actually going to put the foam tape on the base so I know the foam is in the right spot. It's not hanging over the edge. And we can go ahead and stick that on there like that. And then let's also bring in some leaves. Just putting a little bit of glue down at the base of the leaf. And we want to be conscious of the edge of our card, right? We don't need anything meandering too far off. We want to stay within the bounds. And actually, I want this shape. The two leaves are different shapes. We're going to stick this one on the edge, right like that. Maybe turn that one a little bit more. Lovely. And then let's bring in another flower here. Maybe we'll stick it down like that. Let's add some foam tape to that one. Now I talk to myself when I'm crafting sometimes. Anybody else do that? Kind of how I talk when I'm doing videos is kind of what happens when I'm just crafting by myself too. It's nothing new there. And then let's stick another leaf in there like that. And another little guy. Tuck him in there like that. Let's put a leaf. Like so. And one more leaf. We're going to have one extra flower that we're not using, and that's a-okay. There we go. Well, actually, we could stick another. Nah, I'm going to leave it because that's 5. That's an odd number. We like odd numbers. I'll set that aside there in case we need it later. So that's looking pretty. I like that. We're also going to need a sentiment for the front of our card. So I took the same Wisteria paper, but I've turned it over to the light side. And this is 3 inches by 7/8. And I'm going to bring in one of the sentiments from the Stamp of the Month. I've got this one down here that says, "Thinking of You." I haven't used it yet. We're going to walk it off the carrier sheet. I don't think I've used it yet. Maybe I have. Grab my block. Pick it up. We're going to season it. And we're going to grab our black ink. Ink this up. And stamp. Looks good. And then, we might as well dovetail it because reasons. Snip in the center, and then from the top to the top of that snip, from the bottom point to the top of that snip. Try and get the little piece that fell. And then let's see, we can tuck it right in there like that. Thinking of You. Let's add some adhesive on the back. I lost my adhesive there for a second. Whew. I'm going to bring this a little closer to me. I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing. And we can just tuck it right under there. And it's going to kind of hide that cut end. See if we can't line it up. Thinking of You. Lovely. And then let's open this up. And on the inside, I'm going to kind of squish it down a bit. we're going to do some more decorating. I've got another piece of that pattern paper now. It's a little bit larger sized. This is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. This time we need to cut our angle going down this way. Okay, so we're going to need to come, we're going to turn it on our Versamat like this. And we need to come this way on our angle. You got to kind of remember yourself here. So we're going to come 2 1/2 inches here, and 1, 2, 3 1/2 inches here. And then we can do what I advise, which is pick it up, bring it over to your card, and just confirm. Is that going the way I want? Yes, because it's a lot easier to erase those pencil lines and try again than it is to try and glue your paper back together. All right, let's line up those marks. And oops, and snip. Now it's very hard to see those pencil marks, but we will give them a little erase like that and that. And then we can go ahead and attach that to the inside of our card. Let's close that for a second so we have more room. And you could use liquid glue for this. I'm just using the tape because it's handy. Not that my liquid glue isn't sitting right there, but it's handy. There we go. Ta-da. Ta-da. All right, let's turn it around the right direction. I'm being very careful to keep that side nice and flat because those flowers are still drying. I don't want to bend it all and contort it all. And let's go ahead and line this up on the inside. And then this piece, which you would think would fit on this little triangle, does not because it's a little bit smaller. But if you line it up with enough space to go around the edges like this, you will notice it's about 1/2 inch that you just need to trim off the edge of this. So if you bring in your little trimmer and you line this long edge up on one of the lines here, you can trim off about 1/2 inch. So let me see. Now it's at 3 1/2, which is what it should be. So we're going to move it over to the 3 inch mark here, that little point, making sure this is nice and straight. And just trim off a little 1/2 inch bit. You can save that for a little flag or something on another card. And then just check. Does it fit? It fits! Hooray! I'm going to use some liquid glue for this one. Oh, my throat just got really dry there all of a sudden. Pardon me if I cough a few more times. I might need to take a sip of my water. There we go. We'll line that up, try and leave an even little bit of space around there. There we are. Now, when we were decorating the front, we had a piece of the Wisteria cardstock that we trimmed down in order to make that angle, and I set it aside over here. And if we bring that to the inside, it would fit in this nice little spot right there. So let's trim it the same way we did the pattern paper. We're going to bring it over to our trimmer. This time the flat is to the top. And we're going to line it up at the 3 inch mark and just trim that 1/2 inch piece off the end. Like so. And then we're waste not, want not. We've got something to decorate that spot. Just add some adhesive. Stick it on down there like that. Now I'm not going to add any cardstock or anything here because that's of course where you're going to write your message, and it's already nice and white daisy-ish. So we're going to leave that, but we're going to add a little bit of embellishment here. So we've got this gorgeous little cluster that we can add. I'm just going to add some adhesive to the bottom of it. Now, I will tell you, if you do not like this look of having your marker show through, what you want to do is once you've colored this, you can even do it before you fussy cut. You can adhere it to a second piece of white daisy and then do your fussy cutting, or you can fussy cut it, attach it to a contrasting piece of cardstock, and then fussy cut a second time. You can totally do that. I am just going to leave it. It's not going to bother me. Yeah, I won't let it bother me because I'm not willing to do anything about it. But we're going to add this on here like that, which looks pretty when it's opened, but it also creates a little bit of a pop-up. And then we've got these other pieces that we have that we decorated, and I thought it might be nice to add a little flower and a couple leaves to this corner too, to add some decoration. I'm not going to use any foam tape on the inside because I want my card to close nicely, but we can add these little bits like so. I'm not going to worry about this extra one. You could possibly stick it on the card, or on the envelope, I mean, if you wanted to. So there's a nice little cluster up there. And then we need to come back to the front. We could also stamp another sentiment in there, but I think, isn't that so pretty? And then when it closes down like that, we've got our front. We need to add some bling. I'm still contemplating adding this last flower here. What do you think? Should I add the last flower? I think if I added another flower, I need to add another leaf. Or maybe I just need another leaf. That could be what I need. Let me know in the comments. Add another flower or another leaf. Which would you choose? I'm just going to grab my bling here, because I forgot to grab it out earlier. We want some clear sparkles to add some sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. So if you're watching and you've got your comments going, Deborah says leave it as it is. That's another choice. You could leave it as it is, or we could add another leaf or another. I kind of like it as it is too, but just as an option, you could add more. Let me see where my pokey tool is. I was putting all sorts of things in my holder. Oh, there it is. It was behind all the markers. So let's add some bling. We've got clear sparkles. We've got bitty sparkles. Let's add a clear sparkle. We went ahead and left those centers white. We could have colored them because now we're going to put sparkles on them. Because why not? Sparkle. We're going to make everything sparkle. And then we'll grab some bitty bling for the smaller flowers. Just like that. So pretty. I like that. What do you guys think? There is our completed corner fold card. We started out with just a card base, a plain card base. We added our Wisteria paper, our mix-in pattern paper, which I think is such a really lovely background choice for something that's got just subtle colors happening on it. We've just got purple and green and black happening on this card. And then, of course, stamping out all those beautiful florals from the stamp of the month, our sentiment on the light side of the Wisteria, all the beautiful coloring, and then some bling, some clear sparkles and some bitty sparkles for a little bit of shimmer shimmer happening. And then on the inside, we've got a little bit of debris, but we've also got that lovely pattern paper repeated again. Now, I didn't bother putting the Wisteria in behind there because I don't want to add too much extra bulk, especially if you're going to be putting this in the mail. We've already got a couple extra layers because we have this folded corner, so we don't really need to add too much more on there. And then, of course, adding in more stamped florals that have been fussy cut out. And I believe, yes, This stamp of the month, you can also purchase a thin cut. So if you do not like the fussy cutting, you can skip that step and purchase the thin cuts. And then a little bit of wisteria in behind this cluster, which sticks up, creates a nice little profile here, a little surprise inside. And there we go. There is our card featuring the stamp of the month and the beautiful mix-in paper. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that corner fold card come together. It's a very simple fold. You just gotta score it and fold it. Not taking too much time or stress. And then, of course, I like that the paper that gets cut doesn't even get wasted. You can use it on the inside for decorating as well. All right, have a wonderful evening and a beautiful rest of the week. And we will see you again soon. Toodaloo. Bye.